Hi, this is Randy Randall of No Age and host of the podcast Hyphenate with Randy Randall. I want to welcome our newest sponsor of the show, DistroKid. DistroKid helps musicians get their music on all the major streaming platforms, and artists keep 100% of their royalties. Hyphenate listeners get 30% off at distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate. Again, that's distrokid.com/VIP/HYPHENATE. Go get your music streaming everywhere now. We'd like to thank our sponsor, iZotope, the absolute leaders in intuitively designed plugins for audio restoration, mixing, and mastering. At iZotope.com, you'll find a plethora of tools and suites that will enhance your audio production, whether it's voice, video, podcast, or a full production recording session. Check out the industry-standard audio repair tool, RX11, or the multi-tool mixer plugin, Neutron 5, or the powerful Ozone 11 mastering suite, plus tons more. Go to iZotope.com and use the code FRET10 at checkout for 10% off. That's FRET10 to get 10% off at checkout. And again, the website is iZotope.com, iZotope.com. What's happening? Thank you so much for tuning in to Hyphenate Halftime. I'm your host, Randy Randall. This is our show for Monday, April 14th. The energy will go down drastically after this intro. With me, as always, is the man of the hour, the man with no beanie, Mr. Aaron Farley. How do you do today, Aaron Farley?
Hi, Randy.
There we go. That's more the energy we're going to have. I love it. Every time I edit these episodes, the energy in the beginning is like, wow, they're off and running. And by the end, it's like, well, you know, the world and things. God damn. Okay, fuck.
Do we still live in a place that exists? I don't know. I can't tell. I do feel like it is some kind of computer simulation at this point.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I
think
think
all these things we thought were true were like
they're just suggestions.
Have they just not been true the whole time and we just didn't know it, or was it? Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, I guess. Yeah. Well,
gentle suggestions.
Tomorrow's still here, I hope.
Apparently, unless they outlaw, the new order, Mondays are gone.
Yeah.
This President Garfield has outlawed Mondays, and everybody legally has to eat lasagna now. So like, all right.
I'm actually okay with that. That'd be fine. Yeah. You mean America Day, Randy?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. No longer
America Day 1, America Day 2.
There's it.
You mean when they start the new year? It's now year 1.
Oh, that'd be fun.
We go back really? Instead of 2025. We're like, nope. Actually, we just decided to start over. So we're at 1 now. It's the third coming.
Yeah, I mean that'd be a fun Wikipedia rabbit hole. Like how many times has the calendar been reset? And people just haven't known it, or they have known it and it's just gone reset again. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a pretty common thing to reset calendars with specifically kind of Middle Ages, or Dark Ages kind of
leaders.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was really counting correctly. I don't think anyone they had it. It's a suggestion. Time is a suggestion.
I mean, I do actually have to say, like, when did they reset where we're at now? Like, they definitely didn't just start it at 0 because nobody knew that Jesus was going to be such a so popular. He could have.
Everybody.
It would take a while before he would be able to headline Coachella.
I'm sure I've seen.
What I mean?
Yeah, there's jokes and skits about this. Like, wow, okay, so year, -1 has now gone to year 0. Like, what happened? This must be an exciting time. Something must be happening here now. Now we're at year 1. Now we're year 2. Like, what just happened?
Yeah.
We didn't even.
How long ago? I do want to know that. I mean, I'm sure that some AI or Wikipedia is like, what do you mean?
Well, AI would.
It is now year 1.
AI
there was no
totally different. Yeah. A man named Charles in Wisconsin in 1942 decided this year will be called 1942. Like, is that true? No, but it sounded good.
It actually hasn't been. Those years haven't always been there. When you find out something is much newer than you thought it was.
Oh yeah.
Like "In God We Trust" was put on coins in like the 50s.
For some
wait, the 50s
thing?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, no, totally. It was like anti-communist. But you think of that and go, oh, but then it just seems like it's always been there. Oh yeah, it
Mhm.
has. It's just since the 50s though.
Always is a loose term. Yeah. What
Yeah.
the big thing with time though? I remember reading about this where it was the trains. It didn't really
Right.
matter if your town was on a different time than another town because you never
Yeah.
really saw the people and there was no way of contacting them. You weren't waiting for a phone call.
Telephones.
But
Yeah.
once trains started connecting towns in longer distances, there had to have some kind of like standardized timetable so you would
Yeah.
know what time the train was going to get there. And you had to
Yeah.
have your clock time to someone else's clock in another town to know, okay, if it leaves here at 10, it's going to get to your place at 11. Well, but here 11 is noon. Like, well,
Yeah.
we all got to get on the same page here, people. These trains,
Yeah.
things aren't going to work.
Then they had to figure out the time zones
Right.
and go through all the political ramifications of that. And all of a sudden, Japan is tomorrow.
Right.
And
Yeah.
nobody knows. And,
Nobody knows
we all
why.
know why, but it doesn't make sense. And you just go over the time change, and then it's today again. I don't know.
Sure.
Whatever. It's kind of today. It's kind of tomorrow. It's whenever. Honestly, it's whenever.
It's how we live. That's how we're living. Today, tomorrow, meh.
Whenever.
It happened. How was your week going? What's new? What's the latest? How was the weekend?
Oh, well, weekend has just been soccer. Driving places. Actually, we went to family like a week before Easter get together thing, and it was fun. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
Weather, all of a sudden it's summer.
Yep.
It just went from winter to summer in like a week and a half. And then and so all of a sudden you're like
sunblock,
getting the shorts
hats. Out. Yep. Yeah. Umbrellas.
Like, oh, I got to find those shorts. I'm like, oh, these don't fit anymore. That's fun. This is fun.
Those were last year's shorts.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Todd Cole. We had Todd Cole on last week.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Do you know Todd?
I know of Todd. I know I've met Todd from a couple times.
Okay.
Just through all of the people that we all know that know each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And photographers and
photography worlds.
Yeah, but it was great because when his conversation popped up, I was like, "This is great," because I don't know anything about Todd Cole. I know his work. and I know how great of a photographer he is. But I honestly, and his film, like I'd seen his kind of commercial films, but I didn't know he was writing like movies and trying to direct. I didn't know he came up through directing movies, and I loved hearing his stories about working with what's his name, who did the Nirvana videos.
God, right?
And I forget his name. He just started I don't know if he just started on Instagram recently, but I think he did. And he posts all this stuff of, because of that Nirvana video,
yeah,
he became massively popular for a number of years.
Sure. Samuel Bear.
Yeah, Samuel Bear. Yeah. That's right. And but like with MTV and Nike and all that kind of dark mid 90s, early mid 90s kind of super high contrast, colorful, dark, pre-X Games, fast edit craziness was him.
Wow.
Which I didn't realize. He's like, here's another one I did. This one was a fucking crazy, so he's just going off and is like, well, I don't even know if I remember this one or whatever, kind of that thing, like walking back through memory lane.
Oh, it's hilarious.
But it was pretty interesting looking and going like, oh wow, he went from not doing much before Nirvana to and then it was like 500 music videos, whatever. He was shooting every single music video, and so it's amazing to hear. It's like, yeah, that was my first. I was assisting him. It's like, oh, that must have been. I kind of lucked out. The photographers that I assisted were pretty put together, and I was treated pretty well. But the best thing was going out on a job and like in a different town and having to hire assistants from that from those cities, the freelance guys and women, and hearing their stories of like, oh, I was like, what's your craziest story? And like, how long do you have? Like, I was photo assisting Annie Leibovitz once, and the assistants got angry and they threw all the gear off the top of a apartment building.
Oh my
It was just
God.
like the craziest stories from like the 80s and 90s, because I was assisting in the mid 90s. So all of these assistants, and even like all these like creative directors who were like, or beginning art directors in the 80s, or they were assistant creative directors or whatever, they had 80s stories, and 80s stories were crazy because they were cocaine.
Cocaine
Everyone
budgets.
was, yeah, because it was flour. Like if there were flowers and candy was in the budgets, that was for drugs.
Oh my God.
So it was like the flowers and candy budget would be like $2,000 or whatever.
Insane, right?
For a shoot. I mean, probably, I don't even know. It's probably more than that. And then you look back at all those ads and you're like, oh yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Why all those ads look like that. And then you just hear all those stories. And so this was like, I started assisting in 1996, maybe 97, and in Portland. And so it wasn't like I wasn't in New York or LA, but in Portland still, you still have Nike and Adidas and all those big companies there. So you have a lot of stuff going through there. So I'm sure just Todd being a part of it, at the end of that, but with a very notorious character, he probably could do multiple podcasts just
stories of those days,
just assisting stories.
Assisting stories. That's a great idea. That's a good idea for a podcast.
But honestly, it's like it really is. And I don't know. I think I'd imagine things have calmed down now because everything is so like kind of controlled and buckled up, and like it seems like there's much less craziness in those industries now. I don't know. It just is. I mean, culturally, I think probably people are like, yeah, we probably shouldn't treat 3/4 of the people that are on this crew horribly and not pay them and expect them to do horribly difficult things for no money.
Well, I just think all of those people have Instagrams and TikToks now. So
yeah, right.
As it goes shitty, it's easy to spread the word.
Yeah.
You can just be like, yeah, no, I don't care if I work again. You sucked anyway. Like, you're going to threaten me with never hiring me again. I'm just going to go ahead and, put you on blast. How terrible you are.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who got, who a lot of those stories came out and people went, oh, really? Okay. We had heard those things, but now it's been proven, and
in the hundreds. Well, that's the thing too, is you can crowdsource information. Like, okay, well, it wasn't just one or two people. This is like tens and 50s and hundreds of people all saying the same thing. You're like, okay, that's probably
totally. But that being said, that time seemed pretty wild. And if you were in, I mean, the music at that time was wild. This is like LA, Motley Crue, Sunset Strip, 80s times.
Yeah.
And you imagine that you have all that going on in music, which they're being much more open and honest about everything. And then you're having but you have the same vibe going on in all of the ad agencies and commercials and movies being produced, and it's just a wild.
When you brought up the Annie Leibovitz thing, I remember I had a friend who was older, Charlie, who assisted for Annie Leibovitz in the 70s. And he said that his favorite band was the Rolling Stones, and he was assisting her in his wild days. But he had to set up for a shoot for the next day, and they went to some like mansion upstate New York, and the band and everybody were just, it was like 2 a.m. and everybody was just up partying and stuff. And he said eventually he partied with the band for a while and then just found a room, lay down on the floor and slept on the floor till the shoot started the next day at like noon.
Yeah.
And they just kind of like got up and like, okay, well, just found some coffee, some more cigarettes, more cocaine. Like, okay, let's get to work. But it was just an overnight kind of thing. Like, I don't know. I'm here. Just showed up for the photo shoot. I'm supposed to prep, and nobody was doing anything. Just like, well, okay, we'll just all stay up till late as we can and just pass out wherever we're able to. He had another good one too, where he assisted Annie Leibovitz on the shoot for Patti Smith's cover photo of Rolling Stone magazine somewhere in like the early 80s, and they were shooting stuff, it didn't look right, and then he like set a trash can on fire or something, and there's like these like trash cans on fire, and she's like glistening in sweat and stuff, and it's black. It's kind of a famous photo, but I don't know if it was his idea to set on fire, or if he was just there, she just told him to go set these trash cans on fire for the
Probably.
shoot. Yeah,
that makes sense. That tracks.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I had heard about her too, that she was one of the only people that could just drink the Rolling Stones under the table. They were just like, oh yeah, we loved having her around. She was the last one awake. she could like out party all of
Leibovitz.
us.
That's why she had that job.
And she was just like the best. I mean, she created a whole genre of like using that, the photo, like documentary style photography, but then moving that into becoming like a very high end portrait photographer and, contracted Rolling Stone. Oh yeah, I know that photo. Oh, that's amazing.
Right. Yeah. But there's like fire behind her, and there's real fire on the set. I think they're in like New Orleans or something, he had said. And so
it's like, find some barrels of oil.
Yeah, we didn't light these barrels of oil on fire. Are you good enough? You need some more blow to go do that? Like, okay, there we go.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't remember even where it was, but I saw a exhibit of Annie Leibovitz
the rapper
photos. The Annie Leibovitz photos of and it was just a bunch of contact sheets and originals and like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Rolling Stones photos.
Oh wow, yeah.
And they were just plastered all over the wall, and you just go and like you're seeing, the really famous shot, but it's like the 10 shots before it and the 10 shots after it, and big portraits, and then little tiny or big prints and little tiny things. And she's just unreal. She was amazing, or is, I guess. She's still around.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
I just know where she would always do the once they started doing the Star Wars prequels, she would get like a big Vanity Fair cover and like fold out, like spread behind the scenes at all the Star Wars shoots. And I think they've kept that up through the sequels also.
Have they?
I think so. That's how I know Annie Leibovitz from her, her behind the scenes Star Wars, very planned photo shoots. Everybody in costume.
One of the biggest to ever do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be the one I'd want.
Well, and I've heard
for.
There's like that she's got great stories. I think that one of them too was what was it Lance? I think it might have been Lance Armstrong, and she was doing the Olympic like features, and I think it was Lance Armstrong. If it wasn't, it was, another Olympian. And they were, I think it's this photo of him and he's on the bike, but it's in a studio, so they have him on like wheels or whatever. And he's riding his bike and he's like, yeah, so-and-so photographer had me really similar to this. And she just stopped and she was like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah. And she goes, take off all your clothes.
Oh,
and he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, this one's going to be different or something. And it's a very famous photo. I think it is funny. Lance Armstrong. I have to look it up. Yeah. But, and he's riding his bike, but he's complete. It's just from the side. So you obviously don't see anything, but she's like, oh, you think, okay, well, this is going to be better then. Take off all your clothes and now we're going to shoot.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh, I'm getting all kinds of different things. Oh, okay. Now, Googling Lance Armstrong naked is coming up with a few things. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I found the correct one.
Yeah.
Hey, that's great.
Studio,
good for him.
Maybe. Yeah. Good for him. Good job, Lance Armstrong.
Way to be in shape.
Yeah.
But yeah, Todd, I thought, had great stories coming from Texas and football and
I love it.
There's so many stories in there. I'd met with him a few years back too, just talking about his Texas traumatic brain injury script, and just going over ideas for music and different things. And
yeah. So what was the story with that? So did he actually make that movie?
I don't know. I don't know what finally happened. We could,
because I do feel like that conversation could have gone like 3 more hours when he kept bringing things up of like, oh yeah, I played football for UT or whatever. I'm like, well, that's no small feat. Like if you're into, if you're like into sports or whatever, it's like one of the biggest, college football programs. And to come from that and then just quit halfway through and go, yeah, I'm not really into this. But also, I mean, it just shows you that's like a person with extreme amount of drive.
Oh my
so
gosh.
To like place that drive into like, well, I want to be creative and be a photographer, be a director. I loved the idea of like just being a director, and I'm like, well, I guess there's directors in Los Angeles, and just moving to LA. It's mind blowing that this city, above all, just has that kind of magnetic, because people do that to go to New York, but I feel like they know New York is really difficult. But there's something about LA where they're like, I mean, that seems possible. It seems sunny there. I could probably go and direct movies. It's like one of those, like, it's an impossible dream that comes true often.
Enough, you know what I mean? Right? But I don't think the numbers beat it out, for the matter.
I mean, it's enough that we know people that did it and were successful at it, like, which is crazy. Yeah. I don't know that many people, and I know a couple people that moved here to become directors or successful musicians or photographers, and it happened. Yeah. So that's easier than going to like New York and becoming like a billionaire.
You don't know anybody who's won the lottery or gotten struck by lightning.
No, actually I do. Both of those things. I know somebody who's gotten struck by lightning twice.
Twice? Yeah. Oh no. That doesn't sound
they're
right.
Fine. They were okay.
That sounds like higher odds.
Yeah. And then our neighbors, when we were young, they won the lottery.
Oh Lord.
And it was this big, like, I mean, it was back in the days when the lottery was only $1 million.
But also when $1 million meant more than a tank of gas.
When you would say you're a millionaire and people are like, that's the richest person I've ever even heard of.
Yeah.
And
what happened to them? Was it a horrible tragedy befell them?
No, not at all. They won it, and it was like, oh my God, they won the million. And then they went to like do the whole thing, and 8 people won it.
They had to split. Okay.
And then they had to split it, and so by the end of it, they bought like a new truck. Yeah. They got like a really nice. Back then, it was like, like a $40,000 truck or something. And that was like,
it's extravagant.
And maybe they pay. I mean, at that point, they probably paid off their house. I mean, their house was probably worth
they probably had $400 left on their house. So like, okay, we'll take $400, pay off the house.
Yeah.
Take the other 1,000 and buy a new car.
Yeah, totally. Pay off the house and get a truck, and we're good. The lottery worked out.
Yeah, that probably saved their life. There's more people. You always hear the terrible things that happen to people that win the lottery.
Oh man. I mean, bring it on. That's what I say.
You ready for
it? I could keep it a secret.
You could handle it. That'd be the funniest thing. Yeah, I had a cousin who's like a relative on another side of the family, passed away, and I think he got something like $1 million just in an inheritance, but didn't tell anybody. But there were signs.
That's amazing.
That's always it's like the meme. Like, like I wouldn't tell you I won the money, but there'd be signs. Again, it was like a new truck.
The biggest above ground pool that you've ever seen. Where'd you get that pool, Frank? I don't know.
Didn't hear from him for a while. It was a long vacation.
Yeah.
Like, were you out of town? Yeah. Doing some fishing. Okay.
Is that a pet monkey?
We noticed. You have a zoo. There's a zoo in your backyard.
Like, what do you mean? No, that's a peacock.
No, don't worry about it. Just a cat.
Yeah,
just a cat with a long tail.
Whenever anybody gets like exotic animals, something is up. It's not easy to get.
It's a sign. There'll be signs. You'll know.
Yeah, the first sign is an emu or an ostrich. I'm like, okay, I don't know. Okay,
yeah, they're good for eggs. Yeah,
I guess I don't know. Every once in a while, you see someone with an emu, and I always think I'm like, that seems like rich people stuff, but I really think an emu probably is not that expensive.
I think a koala would be expensive. If you saw a koala,
I mean, it would be pretty difficult to get in the United States. I don't think you could get one here.
That's what I'm saying.
But an emu, I feel like an emu is probably like $300-$400.
Emu's like an ostrich, right? What am I thinking?
Yeah,
like the emu. The emu.
Well, emus, because people tried to start. It was going to be like emu burgers. They were going to be like this big, like, oh, this is going to be this
going
big
up to
thing.
5 or something.
And so then all these people invested in like this emu thing, and then it just, I don't think it panned out. So there's a lot of emus around. But I'm always surprised, like when people have farms and you're like, God, this must be so expensive. And then they're like, no, a pig is like, it's like, I don't know how much a pig is. Yeah, $75 or something. I don't know. You get this little pig, you raise it, feed it hay or whatever.
I have a friend that has chickens.
Yeah.
And they get eggs just from the chickens. And then, and it's like, but
you feed them table scraps.
I don't even know. I don't know what they're doing with them.
Chickens will eat anything.
Okay.
So you have to be careful.
Okay.
Because you have to be like, they'll eat, because they're also
for the TV.
They're also carnivorous. So they'll eat like
each other.
They'll eat, well, because they eat bugs and they can eat, like if they catch something like mice and stuff in their cage, they'll like eat them up. And so, but yeah, my father and mother-in-law had chickens, and just table scraps. So whatever, like fruits and vegetables and anything, non-chicken related. Like you don't want to give them chicken. It's a little weird. But they'd eat all sorts of chicken scraps, and then they'd get like, they got eggs. I mean, those things were alive for, I don't know, years, like 10 years almost.
Like little dinosaurs.
Yeah. You get eggs all the time. We'd go over there and get eggs. Nowadays, it's like a gold mine.
I know, right? Yeah. You could just print your own money, own a couple eggs, or own a couple chickens.
Yeah.
Get some eggs.
Yeah, we got a BMW.
We did it's like we were doing a drug deal. Shannon wanted to get some eggs. We were going to see her for them, and we're like, hey, make sure they bring some eggs. And like we rolled up in the parking lot and kind of handed them off.
Some dark glasses.
Bag. Yeah, his bag full of eggs. Like, okay, got you.
Yeah,
thanks. Got the hookup. It's wild. It's what a wild world. But yeah, I like Todd Cole's story. I think he, is definitely an inspiration, but it's hard when I think about, just all the people coming to LA and, even his story, for wildly successful as he was in photography, film and just doing this, kind of outrageous art projects and things, and filming them and writing these scripts and stuff. It's still hard. It's a racket. You can be so successful in one field and then trying to get something put together. And I think especially right now, it's like there's such a weird flux in time and place, and trying to shoot anything in LA, it's just different. It's hard.
The hustle is just insane.
I think maybe that's it.
Insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been hard, but it's just as you get older, you sort of know people that's like, okay, I've been killing myself, or just doing jobs for the next opportunity to do the next job, and at some point you just gotta, like, put your hands up, like, okay, this isn't, what's going to happen next.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm right here.
Because it sounds like it should be working. Yeah, it sounds like, okay, yeah. If I just keep doing this, it's gonna go. And then that's the other side of the LA story. It's like come out here and success, and then but it's nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's forever.
Well, and I totally, and I think that I do think that art and music and photography and everything is almost more akin to sports, where it's like you have to work really hard and push and give everything to it, and you probably will get like 4 good years. I mean, honestly, average wise,
right? These careers that people have, yeah. You
I mean, even
your whole life to it, everything you've ever done, you do nothing, eat, sleep, drink. That's all you do. And then, and then again, there's the shelf life to it. It's like, okay, congratulations.
And even me, like I had like 5 solid years of like, I had 5 years to get there, and then I had 5 solid years where I felt pretty like
You were shooting
confident. I was
full-time,
shooting a
getting
lot
paid.
and getting paid well at times, to enough most of the time to make up for the times when I wasn't. And then, it was 4 or 5 years, and then like I personally just started losing, just like, oh my god, okay, things are changing, and do I have enough money to deal with the changes? I think that there's a lot of that, of like that the people, the hustle takes over, especially when people are good at hustling, uh like business, like the business hustle of like the like, or when people get money and they invest that money into something else, like a building, or like like they get enough, like, I'm going to buy a studio or whatever.
Right.
And then that's like,
that could take over your focus
totally
on the lean years with
totally.
Yeah.
And sometimes honestly, like sometimes it's just luck. It's like the luck of the draw of like when you started, what
timing, what the prices of things were, if you had the money when shit was cheap enough to buy it, and then
and then you just have to be able to take advantage of the luck, which I think is everything. But it's great watching someone who's been doing this for like 25 years still like pushing and making good work and like amazing work. And I love it because it's so hard. And it's so hard now too, because the type of work, especially in photography and video, it's so fragmented. Now it's not, it used to be a lot more cut and dry, of like, you go for these big ad jobs, and if you get one ad job a season, you're like, as long as you don't have a huge expense, then you can float, and you can do little jobs and editorial stuff, and as long as you get like one good one a season, you're good. And now those one good ones a season, I think they're pretty few and far between, because you have like 10 shoots going on the same, like they have to do commercials and stills, and you have to do Instagram, and you have to do viral videos, and you have to bring in influencers to do stuff. And it's just, I don't know how, like, and it's the same amount of money it used to be for one thing, and now it's you have to split that money between 10 crews. It's insane.
Well, it's mind-blowing, just because photos are still necessary. I mean, photos still drive the marketing and advertising world. You know what I mean? It's not like we're seeing less photos of things, or a text-based thing. But the way it feels is that it feels like, oh well, it's AI, it's TikTok, it's all these other things. And when you put it into that influencer or social media space, no one's paying for that. You figure, or you get the sense at least that there's no, the budgets aren't substantial for a social media shoot, as opposed to like a magazine, or or catalog, or those types of things.
Well, and even magazines. I mean, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know where the money is. I mean,
they're hiding it.
Well, I think it's kind of like, there's so many people vying for the little chunk of whatever that thing is. And that could be, they're vying for the attention of like, okay, can we get someone to spend 1 minute watching this thing? And that was an ad before. I was like, can we get someone interested enough to watch a 1 minute ad of a polar bear, in a Coke can or whatever? And now it's like, 1 minute. We need like 10 seconds. 12 seconds before a YouTube video, or in between a YouTube video, of like when someone's looking, they're like literally watching the counter go down before they can click next, or whatever. And it's like I don't even know how any of this.
How much can you spend?
There's no more money
for that 10 seconds.
None of those companies have more money. I would imagine they all have less money.
What do you mean, like advertising agencies?
Yeah, the budgets and the like. I can't believe they're like, oh my god, this is the greatest, we're just going to sink way more money into all of these things. They're like, I don't know. I feel like it's when you guys were talking about I don't even remember, a couple weeks ago, and you were talking about music and the fragmentation of everything, and keeping, or it was talking, or you were talking about albums and just trying to keep people's attention with
Oh God.
movies and
Yeah, yeah.
shows and all these things. And I kind of feel like now the landscape has changed so much, because like these algorithms they really have figured out the algorithm to just keep you entertained by a really well curated group of nonsense that will keep you interested. Like, I mean, I would just be
Yeah.
like, okay, if I were to count, I'm sure I could make a graph, and it would be like snowboarding video,
Oh yeah.
another
How many
snowboarding
things you
video,
watch? Yeah.
uh, some
Dog.
music related thing, cute animals, a monkey riding a bicycle, someone falling off a bridge.
Sounds
You
this
know,
really sounds like brainwashing footage,
and
like
then
that, like that shot of Alex at the end of Clockwork Orange. You know, where they
totally,
have his eyes just
yeah,
open, just showing him
yeah.
these random images.
But they don't even have to keep our
over and
eyes
over again.
open.
It's like,
They're
no,
just open.
or they
They
tie you
figured it
down.
out.
It's not a punishment. It's a
Yeah.
self elected form. But
Yeah, they've
yeah.
made the algorithm should be just called the toothpicks. They
Yeah.
put toothpicks in his
Like,
like,
yeah. Oh, perfect.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
thanks. I needed those.
Your-
Can I get some
your
more toothpicks
eyes will
over here,
be open.
please? I need
Yes.
some more. Can I get
I need to
the
watch-
10 toothpick plan here? I'm going to pay you for the toothpicks now.
Yeah.
I need to keep my eyes open longer. I seem to be missing like half the videos every time I blink.
Yeah.
So if
I
I
don't
didn't have
even
to
know
blink,
what
that'd
I'm.
be great.
I don't know what I'm watching, but I am watching it. That is true.
But the sense of devaluation is interesting in all of that kind of stuff too, because we talked about this on show in the past. I forget what it was, but it's like the social media clout and the follower count became a valuation, like
Right.
a form of value that's beyond physical dollars, or any kind of fiscal reward. You know what I mean? That like you're doing it for the gram, you're doing it for the clout, you're doing it for the followers and the engagement and all that stuff. And there's no money, there's no monetary reward for that. Like there's some kind of elusive like allure, like, oh, if you have more followers, you can get paid or this or that, or you get free things or free stuff, but it's like this, there's no real real world value to that. It's this kind of inflated, like in universe value, like you're a more valuable person, a more popular person, the higher caste if you have 1 million followers on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or any kind of social media. Following is seen as being so the people that are doing these things, it's not necessarily that they're even like, oh cool, I will get paid more money, like if you're doing a job, like cool, this week I work some overtime, so therefore I get more on my check at the end of every other week.
Yeah.
No, this is just it can be instant gratification of more followers and likes and thumbs ups and hearts and little casino slot machine sounds going off that release dopamine in your brain as a creator, but you're not really getting anything. And then we watch it, we drink it and eat it and shove it into our eyeballs in the same kind of fashion. And it's like, cool, well, this is all free. This is free. When both sides are realized like, well, no, but no one's paying for any, and then you do see that there are those, there are sponsorships on platforms, and every other video or every fourth video will be an ad. And you have to wait the 10 seconds to skip it. And you think you're not being influenced, or it just feels like, well, I'm just waiting. Just get done with this thing. And I need my next thing. I need my next hit. But you sit through these things and it's like, well, no,
I do need purple socks though.
There's the money. Yeah. Like I do need a meal plan. I haven't been thinking about spending something that's customly made for my meal needs. Yeah. I do need a new mobile app game that has kings and peasants and water and lava. And if you pull the wrong thing, wow, why'd you pull the thing? You're going to get more cherries if you go over here to the diamond zone. I'm going to spend $10.99 a month to subscribe to this platform game. That's what I need in my life.
Yeah, because that's, you need more. I mean, you actually bring up a really good point, because it makes me think, like when you're saying there's no money, there's no payment for you or even for the creator, you're trying to get your likes or whatever, and they have really figured out how to get people to stay on and do that so they don't even have to give you money. Mm-hmm. So that, and this is why like those companies all exist, because they're like, we don't even have to pay people to do this anymore. Like we used to have to pay tens of thousands of dollars to a musician or to a photographer or a designer to do all these things for us, because we couldn't do them, because that's what it would take those things to get the eyeballs on the product. But now the eyeballs are already on the product. And so like we can just kind of like we can give you a couple things here and there. We still need photos, but it's not the same. Like
But
we're
you're
not
going to
putting
shoot
them
with
on.
this. You're going to shoot with this influencer, and she has 5 million followers. So you
Right.
probably should just do the photo shoot for free, Aaron, because
Yeah.
it's going to be really good for you if she tags you in every other photo, or maybe
Yeah.
just once. She might not even tag you in all the photos. She might say she took half the photos, but if she tags you in like one photo, that's like worth a lot for your streams and for your
And
numbers.
by the way, to all the and Randy, you are not wrong. This is the conversation that has always happened. Also, of like, well, if you take we're going to be like, with this label, and so once your name is attached, that never happens, and it never works. It never is like it might be a little bit like, hey, I shot this video. It's like a calling card for other people that might hire you, but you still have to take that calling card out and like do all of the work. So it's not like
you don't have a representative.
So it's like you got not
have an agent.
paid to still have to do the same amount of marketing for.
But now
for
your photos
everything.
have popular people in them, and isn't that better for you?
Totally. Yeah, it's amazing. It's so good.
It's hard.
But then,
it
is, and but it's interesting to think about that before, it's like as a photographer or something, you're shooting a product or you're shooting a photo of a person, and you're helping them promote themselves, but you're getting paid for a while. You're getting paid a pretty good, a livable rate for that time, and people were okay to pay that amount of money because it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you almost as a photographer or an artist or a band have to just be the product now. So you have to figure out of like, okay, I need a bunch of followers, and then I need to take like a road trip, and I need to pitch to a company that I'm going to like do a road trip in the new Volvo, blah, blah, blah. And then this is honestly, this is like what happens. And then you have to do all this content and creator content and photographs, and then they use the photos for the ads. But if you can't kind of shoot by yourself, or just like with maybe an assistant, like I don't think that in any of that life would be, it would sustainable at all.
If your best friends are not supermodels, and you don't know how to use high-end professional camera equipment and have your own light package, and you don't have,
I don't know how you do it.
110 out of 100 charisma points, and know how to talk to high-level marketing executives, then it might be a hard time to become a professional photographer.
I think.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. I mean,
and so you're saying I have a chance.
So you're saying there is a chance.
Yeah. Okay.
What I'm hearing is that it's not impossible.
Supermodels, girlfriends, friends, charisma,
and I have to say,
money,
like
rich parents. Okay, I can do this.
It's not that different in a sense of what I think it's always kind of been like that. It's always, especially being in music or being like, you have to be a part of a scene. We have to go out all the time, like when you're young, and you have to like meet people. I mean, I rarely got a cold call from someone that looked at my photos off my website,
Oh yeah.
Like I met people at bars, and I met people at shows, and I met someone, and then 2 years later they became a creative director at a place, and they got, it really, I'm sure that it's still 80% that now. So if you're in those worlds and you're doing that stuff, if you're out and you're meeting people and you're going to things and you're smart about it and you're super dedicated, then there's definitely, I would say that probably the like the chance or the amount of the cost that it takes to get into it now is way lower than it used to be.
Oh, that's
because cameras
you think just
used to be
just
printing a portfolio would cost you $1,000 minimum, because if you're printing 20 page, it used to you used to have to go to a dark room and print. It was like $20-$30 a page to print a
Mm-hmm.
portfolio page out. So to print a whole portfolio, and then you have to get a book made, and you have to do all these things. And like now, honestly, you could get a $500 camera, you can rent lenses, and you don't even have to have a physical portfolio. So you have a website. Like if you're really good and you're driven, and like there's definitely pockets to make money. Not if you're in your 40s or 50s. Don't start. Start when you're in your 20s.
That being said, yeah, it also helps to be young and dumb and willing to work
no one wants
cheap
to talk
for
to
cheap.
old people.
Yeah, there's money out there, but it's pennies on the dollar, and it's not really a grown person's sustainable lifestyle career.
You have to be amazingly like stable, have a very stable position in the industry to keep going in your 40s and 50s.
Yeah. I guess, and that's probably always how it's been, you know?
Yeah,
probably,
totally.
Again, nothing new under the sun. But
totally.
You know, I don't know. I was inspired to hear Todd's story, though. I've always liked working with him, and it definitely reminded me of so many shoots we had done with him, and my own sort of, I think I talk about it in the intro, though, just my own insecurity of like taking photos for band things. You know, it definitely became something I got more comfortable with, but never felt good about. I mean, you've taken lots of photos as a photographer, but as a subject, there's always, I don't know. Everything in your life, especially because if it's for project, it's like, this is for the record you just made. You just spent 6 months, you know, crafting 45 minutes worth of music, and that you're going to go on this tour. You know, everything in your life is all hinged on this one thing. Now you got to take a photo and sell the whole thing.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh God. I've been in the studio for so long, and we're about to, oh geez, I'm practicing. Oh, hold on. What do we got to do? Wear this thing, stand over there, look this way. Don't look in the camera. Don't look at each other. Stop touching yourself. Why are you wearing that? Why did you do that?
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah. What's wrong with your hair? And you're just like, oh God. Okay. This is the one moment you were supposed to like be yourself or not just be yourself, but be photographed. And you're just like, for me, I think the process was so much about making this thing, and I felt like a weird laboratory rat, which I really enjoy. I felt comfortable in those experiences of like being in the studio and coming up with stuff or writing, or even the touring and the playing of the thing. The music was the thing, but they're just standing there and having your photo taken. Oh God,
it's weird.
Had no interest or ability to do that.
I mean, luckily our band was never popular enough for anybody to take photos of us, so we were good. Other than Dan Monick.
Yeah.
Dan Monick took photos of us but we were dressed as
the Alley Record,
as a Motorhead.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we did the Ace of Spades.
That's amazing.
Or the one where they're standing on like the pile of sand.
Oh yes. What's that called? Yeah.
I don't remember the album.
Where'd you guys go shoot it? It sounds like
Long
Ace
Beach.
of Spades. Oh, but you found sand? There was like
we found hill? So in Long Beach they have to bring in sand. So before the season they like pile up the sand on the edge of the beach. And so we just stood on one of those. They hadn't bulldozed the sand into the beach yet.
So so you found thing you could have what is this? That's Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Is that the actual name of the album? It is, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think that, and the only other photo, like that when we had to submit photos of ourselves, we just did like a photo booth.
Oh,
we just had like 3 portraits. I think maybe I tried to do like a self-port, and I was like, this is stupid, guys. And we're not paying anybody.
Right.
We're not like, let's,
you know the other side of this. Yeah. You're like, no way.
There's minimal, like, I think even for all of our photographer friends and stuff, I think there's like 10 photos of us, maybe.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
You always took
We played for a long time.
You did. Yeah. Yeah, but the photo thing is, it's like you have to be asked for something. The
people were too into the music. They just were never. They were like, oh, I have this camera, but I forget to take photos of you guys, man, because I'm leaving.
Next time.
Sorry,
let's do it.
I left before that time.
We'll take photos of you guys sweaty after the show. I loved once Photoshop was a thing, or once I understood how Photoshop worked, where you could swap out heads I remember Zen Sakizawa was good about like fixing our photos, like being the doctor. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Where it's like,
that's
okay, I
funny.
like everything about this. Like Dean likes his face on this one, but I like my face from that one. Can you put my face from number 4 onto my body from number 8 with Dean's hand from number 10? She's like, yeah, you guys are. But I always felt like so vain. And she's like, no, this is very
that's
normal.
amazing.
This is like how this happens every single day, thousands of
I love
times
it.
a minute. You know what I mean? But I was just like, this sounds crazy. But she's like, no, do it. And you put together like, yes, there we go. That's what I want to look like. It wasn't, you know, she probably gave us a quick like, you know, chin lift and some brighten up the eyes and did something else anyway. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, these photos look good. I like this photographer. She takes good photos.
These are great.
Like, yeah, it's like, well, no, she just figured out how to like make you not cross-eyed and take out that wart on the side of your face and
just digital
suck in
illustrations
your tummy. Yeah,
at some point.
Just widen your shoulders and just, become a Pixar character.
Like, wow, I'm much better looking than I thought I was.
Every time she takes the photo, it's real. I really look good. We got to hire her.
Just
for
really
more,
captures it.
all this stuff. Yeah, I like that other guy where it's just all wrinkles and snot coming out of my nose.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Yeah,
it's a weird one, man. I think too that now we look at so many photos. I forget the number,
right.
but there's a definite number of like we look at more photos per day now than someone like 50 or 60 years ago looked at in like 10 years.
Their entire life.
Or their entire life.
See, like,
especially moving videos. Like we probably watch more moving images than someone in the 70s or 80s watched ever, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't
ever.
I saw a great clip of kids going to a prom in like 1985 and all the comments were so good. It was like, how do they look like he wants to like refinance your auto loan? Why do all the girls are dressing like grandmothers? You know, and then one person said like, you know, it was all cigarettes and suntans. Like there was like none of those people ever drink a drop of water.
It's true.
all they did was smoke cigarettes and get suntans. And this
maybe a sip from a drinking fountain.
Well, maybe on accident. Yeah, in between crushing Budweisers and and tab.
There's other ways to get water.
Yeah. But it brought up that funny thing of like, you know what I mean? There was no sunblock and no water bottles. And I think it makes a difference in terms of they were just saying they're just like physically, these people, like we get the hair, the clothes and stuff like that. But those faces of teenagers in 1985 just look so much older.
Older.
Like the 15-year-old in 1985 looks very old, different than a 15-year-old in 2025.
Yeah, definitely. And they were only like 6 years away from their first mortgage.
Right? Yeah, exactly. They probably were parents. Crazy. You know, you're 15. You're about to become a dad next year.
Yeah,
and
they're like, well, I'm gonna
buy a house,
baby right after high school, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah,
I'll start an insurance company, and we'll be rich by the time.
I already got the polyester suit. And, It was just a funny case of those kind of things. You just think of the differences of what our poor brains are doing, but even just what our bodies are. I have to imagine.
Yeah, we look good.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. Is it good? Is it better? I don't know. Do people
as long as the lighting is good.
But that's always like those old movies too, like Humphrey Bogart. You know, I mean, everything we've talked about that, where it's just like he looks great on film, but you realize he's like 35 years old.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a second. He looks like worn leather. Looks like a leather glove.
Well, wait, can we bring back Cocoon? Okay.
Oh, right. Okay. Now we're just
Cocoon.
We're reheating it. Like, did you find
the
any information? Yeah.
No. Okay, but there was a meme for a while that was
yes.
The guy Brimley. From Cocoon, Wilford Brimley.
He was 50 years old or something, right?
He wasn't even 50. I feel like he was like 42 or something. It was something crazy.
Tom Cruise is the same age as Wilford Brimley.
Yes,
you're like,
totally.
No.
Yeah. And you're like, oh yeah, all those guys. Like, we're like, this guy was the grandpa in Goonies, and he was like 46.
Yeah.
Like, oh Jesus, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's not right. That's not right.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Well, we're doing good. We're winning. This is what winning looks like. 2025.
So. I mean, I do feel like. Do you ever listen to Dan Carlin's?
Hardcore history.
I
did years ago, and then it got too real for me for something or too boring. I was just like, okay.
There's a couple of them though that every once in a while I'm like, oh man, this is really going bad. And then you listen to something from like the 1800s and you go, ooh,
well, that wasn't good.
All right, maybe we can dig ourselves out of this one. If we dig ourselves out of whatever happened like 70 years ago or 150 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. We can make it. Let's get off these computers. Just get off these computers. They're ruining our lives, Randy. I mean, unless you're listening to podcasts.
No, then keep listening to this. Yeah.
Just
don't ever stop listening. Make sure you tell your
podcasts,
friends.
and then turn it off until next Thursday.
But make sure you have automatic downloads turned on. Make sure you have automatic downloads. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Give a good review. We need the reviews. Review all those things, and then turn it off and never listen to it again until
all of the things that you need are right here. We are all you need. We are all you need. We are all you need. We start our own cult.
Hey, this is so easy. Who knew?
That's what people do, right?
It's like Kool-Aid. Get some Kool-Aid going in there.
Yeah. We give it away for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about aliens and stuff. We're into this. We're into this kind of stuff. Illuminati.
Well, I did love, I don't know if you ever read anything about Darby Crash from the Germs, is he was really into cults. And I think he was looking at the Germs as a form of a cult, but I think he didn't quite live long enough to see it through. But
it seems like that happens. It seems like the cult leaders always, they fizzle out pretty quick. Unless they're real good at business. And then they just start a church.
Right. Or multi-level marketing scheme or some kind of like snake oil, some kind of supplement program.
Yeah. Supplements. That's where that's where the money's at.
I do have to say, getting back to like the 15-year-old thing, I did go to the dermatologist to have something removed recently. It's always a fun experience. No, signs you're over 40.
Yeah.
But then while I was there, I was talking to him and he asked me, he's like, do you wear sunscreen? And I said, yeah. He's like, well, how often? I'm like, when I go out in the sun. He just kind of looked at me. I was like, like if we're going to the beach or going to the park or, if it's a long day at soccer or something, going to Disneyland, I'd probably put some sunblock on. He's like, you should be wearing it every day. I was like,
what?
Really? Like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah. Like, it's like, were you in this with like, was the light out when you came to the office today? I was like, yeah. He's like, that's called the sun. You're getting sun on your face, at least your face, your whole body, you're getting sun every day. You should. And I was really thinking, I was like, when did that become a thing? I didn't know you're supposed to wear sunscreen every day. Like that's just part of your general. And I told Shannon, she's like, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing you're supposed to be doing. I was like, no one told me that.
I don't believe it.
I didn't get the memo.
That's going to be my old man thing.
I think you're supposed to drink 4 gallons of water and never stop peeing all day so you don't go out in the sun and get a sunburn.
When you're walking,
walk for 48 miles inside from the water fountain to the bathroom and then never go out in the sun, and then you're good.
Okay.
You'll never get cancer and
you'll be fine.
You'll be hydrated. Your skin will look great.
Podcast all day, be on Zoom with your friends and stay in the studio.
I can't figure out the water thing, with all the water. If you drink that much water, as much water as they tell you to drink, I just pee all day long. I can never get anything done. Because as soon as I sit down to like check an email or do any work or anything, I'm like, I have to pee again because I just drank.
You just feel full too.
4 bottles of water, I guess, but not really. I know I want to eat something.
It's big water, Randy. It's big water and big sunscreen. Big sunscreen and big water.
Were not a thing. Like if you had a canteen as a kid, if you were playing Army Man, you could have like a canteen, like one of those round ones. But now it's like everybody's got one of those.
Yeah. But I do remember for soccer. Like when we were kids,
the giant jugs.
You would have like a big plastic one and it had a big handle and it had like the little plastic flip, the flip thing.
You can gnaw on it.
So just the jugs, you just never really had like a small, maybe I guess you had the ones like the squirt bottle that you would use at the bike ones, like the bike size one. There was that, or there was like the huge one, or there was the huge Gatorade, like the Gatorade tub.
The squirt ones, the kids don't do that anymore. You hold it out far from your face and squeeze.
No, it's got to be a $45 metal. It's probably given everybody aluminum poisoning or I'm sure steel.
Yeah. We'll find out later. Like, why'd you guys
heavy metals?
These things?
Yeah,
they were on sale at Costco.
It was good. It was free BPO or whatever. But that's plastic. We didn't know you were getting lead poisoning.
I loved the AM/PM like super gulps or whatever size they had, and you could just like refill them all the time. Remember, there was the things that you could put the top back on. I think Baja Fish still does these, like the plastic straw that then has a plastic cap onto the straw.
It's like this
reusable.
It's almost like a swizzle straw.
Yeah. Oh right, yeah, they're collapsible accordion straws.
Well, how about this? You know that
I think you could just shave plastic into it too. Like half of the ice that came out of there was just made of plastic shavings.
Yeah, I just eat plastic.
Yeah,
you just get it all over with. Did you know that the old Big Gulps, like when they first came out with Big Gulps, 32 ounces. That's the size of a medium soda at McDonald's right now.
Yeah.
Was the same size as a Big Gulp before.
Wow.
So it must have been like the cup sizes back then when you'd go to get like a soda was like 12 ounces, like a little tiny cup.
Yeah.
They don't even have those now.
Fuck that.
Big soda.
Tiny little cups. Get those little Dixie cups out of here. I want giant cups.
You go in and just kick the cup stack over. Get these cups out of here.
Fucking cups out of here. I said a cup.
I'm gonna start going
in
with a water bottle and just filling it up in the 7-Eleven in the water thing and see if they stop you for doing that. Do they care?
I don't think so. They'll do 50 cents for ice. Remember that was a thing on the road. If you wanted to fill up your cup full of ice and just ice and water, you give 50 cents. But
50 cents.
It's the same thing.
I'll give you a quarter, buddy.
You're supposed to put 50 cents in if you want to get air, out of the machine, unless you buy gas, but they were
but in California, it's free.
Yeah.
It has to be. It's supposed to be.
So they probably get
freaking air.
Big cup of ice. Just tell them like it's ice. It's just water.
It's ice, man.
Water.
It should be free. It should be government subsidized. I pay taxes for this ice. This is my ice.
Well, you can't even get ice in Europe. That was the shocking thing.
Really?
They're anti-ice there. Yeah.
Everything's all warm.
Get a whole warm soda, 6 ounce warm soda. You're like, this is great. I love this. Thanks.
I wonder they're doing so good. They got warm beer too, right?
I
just
never
have warm beer.
Probably though. Yeah,
like the Guinness and everything. It's just like warm beer.
Just different things.
I mean, I wonder how much money they save in Europe by just not not freezing their ice. They probably save millions of dollars a year, billions, maybe.
Electricity charges.
Yeah,
it
just pays for their healthcare. No ice, free healthcare.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the thing you have to. But also the tiny ass little fridges, those little micro mini bar fridges in the house.
Yeah,
you don't need that much food stored in the house because you just walk down the street and get organic produce every morning. Yeah. Just buy the one apple you're gonna need for the day. You don't need 45 apples in your fruit crisper.
Well, speak for yourself. I like to have 45 apples just in case.
I load them up like a cannon in my mouth, like some kind of a tennis ball cannon.
A shooter.
Take a whole sleeve of apples, load them in there.
But opposite, tennis ball. You're not shooting them.
Yeah. I just know I eat them whole like that, and they just come out of my ass like a cannon. That's how it works. Just bend over, shoot them out. Boom, 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 boom.
Wow, you don't get any nutritional value. It's just for fun.
High fiber. It's high fiber. Cleans you out. It's important. That's the other thing. We got water, sunblock, and fiber. Wait till we get to the fiber.
Yeah. Water, sunblock, and don't chew your apples.
Yes, that's it. Just directly inhale all Apple products. All right. We'll stop there.
That's a good way to end. It's perfect.